Good afternoon from the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your forecaster Jeff Monk looking at the planning outlook for the week ahead. Just in the midst of transferring the files from one computer to the next, so I haven't got our usual introductory slide, but I have just put on really what's going to happen in a nutshell over the next week, or even what's not going to happen. There is going to be very little fresh snowfall. So I'm quickly going to take you through some of the isobar charts, and then we'll look at the rainfall charts. First of all, a quick look at Sunday. We will have generally southerly winds. The isobars sort of somewhat airy-fairy for 1 millibar intervals, and that's because high up in the atmosphere it's a little bit different. There's actually a very, very shallow low, and what this will be doing is pushing up what we call the inversion height at the moment on Friday. Many of the summits are below cloud, weather is cloud. In other words, the cloud confined to very low levels, but through the weekend it'll go a little bit higher and we will start to see a little bit of precipitation coming out of it. And now with much lower freezing levels, there will be a dusting of snow for some areas. If we just go through the week on Monday, isobars beginning to get closer together out to the west of Scotland, but generally speaking, very little change, although that little upper low will have gone away, so substantially dry. Around Tuesday, southwesterly winds strengthening a little bit across Scotland, south or southwesterly. There may be a front coming in from the west, some uncertainty in the timing of that. Until today, most of the forecast models have been holding it out to the west until Wednesday, but we're beginning to get one or two which are showing things coming in a little bit faster. Windier too, and windy is the scene for mid and later in the week. Strong southerly winds, gale force on many upland areas, even severe gale force. So a very windy midweek, and temperatures still at or even below freezing point on some of the summits, though rising as we go through the midweek period. As we get toward next weekend, this is a chart for around Friday. Still a lot of isobars coming in, something of fronts coming from the west, which I'm not really putting on to any great detail. But the strong southerly wind at some stage will be replaced by a colder westerly, and at that stage there may well be some summit snow, particularly across Scotland. But what I'm going to say is that around Thursday and Friday and Saturday, just the speed of which changes are going to take place is very uncertain, but eventually the air coming more off the Atlantic. So let's have a look at the precipitation. The blue shown on this are accumulation of precipitation over a few hours, and if it's blue, the various shades are less than a millimetre, where it's showing up green, total rainfall more than a millimetre. But what this chart is really trying to show is that here and there the cloud will be just thick enough to give a little precipitation. Forget precisely where it's showing it, it probably won't be there, but broadly it's just showing showery bursts of precipitation, some places lasting an hour or so. With freezing levels at only 300 or 400 metres, very little temperature change with height, it is likely to be snow locally, perhaps over northern England and southern Scotland, lying on the lowest slopes, though slightly less cold air coming into Wales from the southwest, so the freezing level tending to go up there. By Monday, most of that will have gone from the mountain areas. There could just be a little bit of drizzle or very higher up snow flurries further north, but generally it's dry. Though what this doesn't show you is that there will be a lot of low cloud shrouding most mountain areas. Here and there, some summits will still be free or between cloud layers, but generally speaking, many summits will be bathed in cloud. The best opportunity, I think, for cloud-free summits is in northern Scotland, perhaps North Wales as well. In other words, where you're well to the north of other mountains. As we go further into next week, around Tuesday or Wednesday, and as I say, the timing very uncertain. It did look like Wednesday or even Thursday, but now Tuesday, Wednesday, rain beginning to come in from the west, mostly rain as well, higher temperatures, higher summit temperatures close to or perhaps above freezing point by this stage. If we go on now to Wednesday, it does look as if another area of rain will be coming in Wednesday, Thursday, or even Friday. some uncertainty, but eventually by the time we get towards Friday, it does look as if rainfall will have come in. Sorry about the curved line over northern England. That's as we've tried to move some of the files. It's done one or two oddities. So total precipitation over the next week will be small. There will, as I say, be a little bit of fresh snow, but during the midweek period, that mild midweek period, it is all likely to melt again. So it does look as if it'll be another 7 or even 8 days before we see any real snow on higher summits, when eventually the wind is likely to go more westerly, with the air having crossed the Atlantic, starting off in Canada. And at that stage, as I say, we may see freezing levels go back to 700 to 900 metres. Some uncertainty in timing, but as I say, for the next week, apart from temporarily low freezing levels the weekend and just into the week, it will be mild, and a lot of strong winds around Wednesday, Thursday, and perhaps into Friday. So do enjoy your time on the mountains.